Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Today, the question of the day will be, how does fear affect us? And not just us, the people filming this, but everyone. This question we'll be looking at with myself, of course. Then, of course, we have Taylor, Sierra. Then lastly, we have, and obviously the most least of this group, we have Jessica. And now, let's go to Jessica with this interesting thing from Hot Zone.
Hi guys, it's Jessica here, and I'm going to be relating our topic on how fear affects our decision making back to The Hot Zone by Richard Preston. And the Ebola virus is a form of hemorrhagic fever. And a hemorrhagic fever is like, it liquefies your organs and your cells basically explode, and it's really disgusting, and you definitely don't want it, and it's extremely lethal. So for my first example, I'll be talking to you about Dan Dalgard. And Dan Dalgard was a veterinary consultant, and he ended up working at a monkey quarantine facility. He ended up taking matters into his own hands and killing all the rest of the monkeys in room F in order to stop the virus. And that was an act out of fear, not out of logic or anything like that. He could have gone to other people, but since he was afraid, he decided to kill them himself. The next example I'll be talking to you about is actually about Peter Darling and Tom Geisbert. I think that's how you pronounce his name. If it's not, then I'm sorry. So when they were looking through what it was and when they were examining it, before they did that, they sniffed the virus. Instead of telling other people, CJ Peters, about what they thought it was, they ended up just keeping it back to themselves and not telling anyone, even though they could have been infected and could have been infecting other people. So, out of fear for what would happen to them, instead of what the better good of other people, they decided that they would just go ahead and lie and not tell people because they're afraid. Those are just a few of many more examples from The Hot Zone by Richard Preston. But those are the two that I have to share with you today.
Now I'm going to show you how fear can affect your decisions. Yeah.
I have spent my whole life scared, frightened of things that could happen, might not happen. 50 years I spent like that. Finding myself awake at 3 a.m. But you know what? Ever since my diagnosis, I sleep just fine. Okay. And I came to realize it's that fear that's the worst of it. That's the real enemy. So, get up. Get out in the real world.
In this scene of Breaking Bad, Walt comes to terms with his cancer. Before his diagnosis, Walt lived in fear, never knowing what would happen and fearing the unknown. But now, living without those fears, Walt is a completely different person. He may be a lying, meth-cooking maniac, but he's different nonetheless. Think about it. We all deal with fear in our daily lives. All of us. For example, most people deal with fear of being judged, how other people think of them, and so on. To show you what I mean, we're going to show you a clip of how fear can affect your decisions.
Now we're gonna go to culture.
In this scene, Jackie decides to stay in the CDC while it's about to explode. Her options are either stay in here and die with surety, or she can leave and try to tough out the world with the walkers. She fears the zombie apocalypse, and so she doesn't want to face these horrors, and so she decides that she would rather die than to see another walker or turn into one herself.
To understand this better, let's look at an example. In this situation, Ryan becomes fearful after seeing the snake in his path. This causes him to be fearful the next time he walks down the same path, even though the snake isn't there. This is called anxiety, and it affects us in our decisions by creating fear even when there isn't something there to fear. Our anxiety that is caused by a previous fearful event is another way that fear controls us.
If by now you haven't understood the answer to our question, I'll just lay it out for you. It is...
Fear makes you act differently than you normally would.
Yeah, what he said. That's what it is. Okay, now I'm gonna solve this. Give up.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't filming. Okay, I'm filming now, so whenever you're ready.
Draw that fear definitely does have. In conclusion, fear does.
Wait, no, set up the Rubik's Cube so it's
If by now you haven't realized the answer to our question, I don't have the Rubik's Cube.
We gave it to you. Oh, there it is. Sit back down.